All right, whole new lighting look for you. We're on the other end of the studio. We've closed the drapes so we don't have a bunch of ambient light coming in, and we're going to be shooting on a white wall. What we're going to shoot this time is a very, very, very popular look that was expensive to achieve, but now it's very inexpensive to achieve because of a little accessory we're going to use. We're going to use a ring flash adapter. So the characteristics of this are, you see this all the time on the cover of fashion magazines. It is actually a circle of light that actually attaches right onto your camera. So your lens shoots through this circle, and it creates circular catch lights in the eyes, which are kind of nice. But it has a very, very flat look to it. I want to tell you this about ring flash. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. There's no in between. Because a lot of times when we're working in the studio, we want to keep our subject away from the background. So I like to keep them ideally about 10 feet away from the background behind me, actually a little further than I am from the background right now. That's ideally what I would like. However, that being said, in this case, when you're shooting a ring flash, you want your subject very, very close to the background because it casts almost a glow of a shadow back behind them. And this is one of those rare cases where you want to see the shadow. It's part of the ring flash look. And again, you may go, oh, I love that look, or oh, I can't stand that look. I haven't found a lot of people that are kind of in between, but I'm going to show you how you do it because it's a great thing to add to your arsenal. First thing you need is some kind of an off-camera flash. Doesn't matter whether you're using Nikon or whether you're using Canon. They make an adapter for both. We're using a Nikon SB800, so it's a little bit of an older flash, but it still works well. And what you're going to do is, here's the thing that we're talking about. It's called the ray flash. Now, you can actually buy the more expensive version, buy the whole thing. You can actually buy a dedicated ring flash. So if you're going to be doing this all the time, if this is going to become your staple, then you'll actually want to buy a strobe with it built on. But what we're going to do to save money and time and weight is this. What this thing does is it actually attaches to the front. It kind of snaps onto the front, and you can a little lock on the top here. Locks it onto your camera. So your lens comes right through here. So this attaches to the front of your camera. And by the way, this is one of the only times ever that I hope you're going to shoot with a flash directly on top of your camera. That is usually the most flattering, harsh light. In this case, what's going to happen is the light that comes out of the strobe comes down here, gets distributed through here. It's still kind of harsh and bright and really, really punchy, but that's okay. It's a particular look you're going for. Then what you do is you take this and you attach this onto the camera. So we're going to slide the lens through the center and then attach the flash to the hot shoe on the top of the camera like this and lock it on. All right. Now, when we're shooting with strobes or shooting with a flash, I'll switch to manual mode. The rest of the time, I shoot in aperture priority mode. It's probably the most popular mode used by professionals. But when it comes to strobes, you need to switch to manual mode because you need to be able to have control of the shutter speed and the aperture separately. Now, we're going to start off in the area of 1/160th of a second. The fastest you can go with a strobe like this, an off-camera strobe, is 1/250th of a second. So just start off under 1/250th, or your camera won't properly sync with the strobe itself. So you want to make sure that you start at least 1/250th of a second or less. A good safe starting place every time I'm setting up a strobe is I start at 1/125th of a second. That's kind of just a good starting place at f5.6. So let's go ahead and take a test shot. We're going to bring Shay in. We're going to put her very close to the background. And at that point, what I'm going to do is I'm using a shorter lens here. We're using like a 24-70. Hi, Shay. If you'll, so let me have you position over here kind of close to the wall. Now see, look how close she is to the wall. And this is closer than you would normally get. You really would want her quite a bit off there. But she's casting a soft shadow back here now just from the ambient light in the room. We don't really want that. We want that hard, weird glow that is created by using one of these. And we're going to take just a couple of test shots and see how we go. So I'm going to be closer to the model than I usually am. Now, I like to leave a little bit of space between me and my subject generally because it just makes them feel more comfortable. When you have someone that's like right in your face shooting you, it is kind of intimidating. You have a camera like right there. So I like to put that little bit of space between myself and the subject. But in this case, the whole idea behind this thing is to get in tight. We'll take some tight and some out a little bit far. So that's the whole setup. You put your strobe on here. Set your camera to manual. Start at like 1/125th of a second at 5.6, just as a starting place. Take a test shot and see how it looks. You're going to attach this over the top of the strobe. Let's take a couple of test shots and see where we're at. All right, I'm going to have a little hand movement from you here. There you go. Very good. Okay, well, we need a little bit of adjustment. So I'm going to move to, I'm going to put it at 160th of a second, and we'll go to f6.3, and let's just see how this looks here. All right, very good. Wow, you can really see the shadow, the little kind of glow coming up between her. One good way to do it with this is go ahead and start by getting an exposure without the ray flash on there. Go ahead and get an exposure, and you want it a little darker than the ambient room light. So take the flash off, take a test shot, see what it looks like. Get it a little darker than normal. Then we're going to switch, add the strobe light, and it'll kind of fill in the rest. All right, stop giggling, everybody. Everybody here on the set is like cracking up. Stop cracking up. Here we go. All right, there we go. That is like, I just woke up in the morning, I'm tired. There we go. I'm also doing one other thing that really has nothing to do with the technique. Just, I'm turning the camera just a little bit this way or this way. For this type of shot, I think it adds a little bit of energy, but it's just a stylistic thing. You either like tilty shots or you don't. It's kind of like the ray flash itself. All right, let's take a couple of more shots here. Get in a little bit closer. And a little bit closer. You see, this is closer than I normally like to be. Oh, that looks good. Very good. Very nice. And wow, these look good. Okay, and you're going to see on screen here, you're going to see that little glow that's behind her, and that's the trademark look of this. Again, it's a very, very bright, flat look, so you have to decide if this is for you, but this is the most inexpensive way to get to that part.